Hi, it's Uncle Larry. For those who don't know about him, the late Jack Layton was a politician, the leader of Canada's official opposition. The life of this remarkable figure was cut short by cancer in 2011, but he left us a final note before his passing, which contained the following two statements. Hope is better than fear. Optimism is better than despair. Those final words from Jack are ringing in my head as I scroll through thread after thread of social media doomsday predictions. The end of the world is always just around the corner for these people. And you could point to domestic challenges like rising prices, out-of-reach mortgages, higher energy costs, the gradual disappearance of the middle class, and the possible collapse of our economy. Or you could point to global challenges like wars in Ukraine, the Middle East, the effects of climate change, the rise of authoritarianism, and the possible collapse of democracy. I could go on, but you get the picture. The messages conveyed by these doomsayers aren't enough, however. Oh no. If you don't believe them, if you don't support their worst fears, you must be morally corrupt or ignorant. If you don't see us as standing on the edge of a cliff, then you must be blind. They want you to share their feelings of overwhelming dread. Writer Frederick de Boer describes the obsession with worst-case scenarios as worry porn. He says, quote, "It's this thing where they insist they don't want something awful to happen, but they describe it so lustily, imagine it so vividly, fixate on it so relentlessly that it's abundantly clear that a deep part of them actually does want something awful to happen," unquote. Professor Jeremy Adelman from Princeton University calls people with the attitude of inevitable decline as declinists. That's his word. He says declinists have more cachet in times of turmoil and uncertainty, but most of all, they ignore signs of improvement that point to less drastic ways out of trouble. Declinists have a big blind spot when it comes to humdrum solutions. Yeah, solutions. Ooh, that's boring. Now, I have detected this tendency with climate change in particular. If you say you agree with climate change, but approach the subject with hope because of the technologies being developed to mitigate its effects, you'll likely be scorned. Even if the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, or the IPCC itself, says that we are not going to go extinct anytime soon, and it does say that, it just doesn't matter. You're off message. They want catastrophe, not hope. So that's just one example. But in the face of all this doom and gloom, what does it mean to hope? Well, let's unpack the concept. It isn't enough just to point to a formal definition of the word. Hope is not an essence or a thing. It's hard to capture. The meaning of an expression lies primarily in how it is used, not merely in how it is defined. That's important. And those uses vary. So let's investigate the uses of hope to see where it takes us. And in the end, we can decide where the term hope fits and where it does not. So for many, hope is simply a modest way of controlling negative emotions. It can help us live with difficulties in the present and to live with an uncertain future. We might choose hope over pessimism for small issues or big ones. You might embrace hope for a realistic, achievable resolution to a problem that you're facing right now. Even if the total elimination of a problem isn't possible, you can always hope for the best outcome. In the larger picture, you might emphasize a more collective, utopian hope about a better earthly future for everyone. Activists use that kind of approach all the time. For them, it's like a mantra. So that's how they articulate hope. Maybe your hope is of a more heavenly sort. Different religions, especially Christianity, use hope to describe the possibility of an afterlife. So if this life seems hopeless, at least there's something better in heaven. And gospel music is chock full of such references too, even though surprisingly the Bible doesn't mention that much about the beyond. So hope is a complex concept, but as we all try to do our part to mitigate the effects of our current malaise, we need it now more than ever. Hope is better than fear. Remember that from Jack Layton. He was right then. He's right now. This is not to say that there aren't deep-seated uncertainties out there. Life is full of them. You know that. But seeing those uncertainties exclusively as evidence of our pending demise can lure us into just giving up. There's nothing morally corrupt or ignorant about hoping for the best or promoting solutions. The glasses half full disposition is not a sign that you're shallow. It's not. It's time to find some balance, some equilibrium. Don't allow yourself to be overwhelmed with dread. Don't become addicted to that. Don't spread it unnecessarily either. Don't allow declinism to become your system of belief. Let's revisit Jack Layton's final words one more time. What a better way to end. Here are the statements again. Hope is better than fear. Optimism is better than despair. There's nothing to add but amen.